Hello, fellow safety and health professional, and welcome to another podcast in a series of podcasts based on an article in Safety and Health magazine that's all about you. My wife felt symptoms first. She tested positive for COVID-19 and only suffered minor discomfort for a few days. Good for her. I, on the other hand, was laid up for weeks. At first, my symptoms included a fever, body aches, a mostly dry cough, dizziness, clouded thinking, and fatigue. Your typical COVID-19 symptoms. I didn't have a serious respiratory problem, thankfully. And most of my symptoms went away after about 4 days. But frighteningly, my fatigue got much worse. In fact, merely walking into the kitchen to get a glass of juice exhausted me. Besides dreading the possibility of having to go to the hospital, I was fretting over becoming a COVID-19 long hauler. I don't know if you've read about it, but some people who get COVID-19 end up having symptoms for several months, particularly fatigue. That's the one that is most common, that lingers. Well, I feel much better now. Though I still tire easier and I sleep a bit more than I used to, I'm pretty much back to my pre-COVID activities. I still can't exercise vigorously. If I do, I start getting a little bit dizzy. But besides that, I'm feeling pretty good. And what a relief. I'm so glad I'm not still as tired as I was. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you isn't just to pass on something that happened to me in my life. I learned two valuable lessons from this, both of which I knew about, intellectually, but I really didn't feel them in a deep emotional way, enough so that it hit home, as they say. The first one is that any hazard can happen to you. This is something we deal with often as safety and health professionals, people not thinking that they're going to be the one to get hurt, or sometimes even people think that a hazard that has killed many people won't ever kill them. So I was shocked, and so was my wife, that Jackie and I, got this disease, got this COVID-19. And so I'm going to make sure, even for something very simple that I often will not think is going to get me, if I see something on the stairway, or if I going to put one nail in, I'm going to make sure, no matter what, that I realize it could happen to me and cause me serious harm. Second one, which has really changed my behavior in different ways, the second lesson I learned is that my quality of life is determined by my health, perhaps more than anything else. I knew, and you probably do right now, sitting there or wherever you are listening to this, that your health is very important. But I understood it completely. There was a couple weeks where I didn't want to do anything. I was so miserable. I didn't even want to read, and I love reading. I just was just laying on bed or on the couch and just felt horrible. I had no energy, and I also mentally was in a very bad place as far as, enjoying life. So, especially after reading this article from Jasprid Tacker, he's the MD from a program director of internal medicine at Mountain View Hospital, a whole article about how your health is so important to your life. And this is what Dr. Tacker said. There are 3 key things that healthy people do every day. 1, exercise. 2, maintain a nutritious diet. And 3, get a good night's sleep. And part of the article was showing that it's not a one-size-fits-all. Everybody has different amounts of sleep, for example, that they need. I sleep 7 hours or so. Some other people need 6, others need 9. Well, after reading Dr. Tacker's thoughts, I created 3 headings on a piece of paper. It was just a little exercise I was doing so I could try to see how I can improve my health. And I put exercise as one heading, diet as the other, and sleep as the third. Then I split my daily habits into two categories. Those that, quote, contribute to, unquote, was what helps my, exercising, what helps my diet, what helps my sleep, and those that take away from those three things. And to date, I've eliminated almost all the takeaways. There's a couple I'm still not doing well with. So let me give you an abbreviated example of my list for sleep. Things that contribute to me having a good night's sleep. I have a great mattress and pillows, and I have this really soft comforter type cover. I keep the room cool. I have these curtains that my wife bought me as a present, which keep the light out. They're blackening curtains, so my room is dark. And I drink warm herbal tea before I go to bed. That I usually do anyway. So those are the things I do, and there's others that help me to sleep better. Now here's what I used to do that take away from my sleep. I wouldn't go to bed at the same time. Right now I go to bed between 8:30 and 9:30, fairly early, but I get up early too. But I used to go to bed all different times, and I would get up at different times too. I watch TV or mess with my phone before going to bed. And now I read a book. I read a physical book for a little bit before I go to bed. And I also would used to check and a lot of people do this too, I check my email or my phone or look at my phone if I woke up in the middle of the night, which a lot of us do. I'd wake up and the first thing I do is reach over, which is on my bureau, and pick up the phone and look at it. And sometimes look at emails. And at times I'd look at it long enough that I was wide awake. You wake up, you're groggy, and then if you might stay up for a little bit and then you go back to sleep. Well, I'd wake up, look at my phone for a while, have that light on my face, and then I'd stay awake and I would mess up some of my sleep. The things about our health that make them better don't usually take a lot of effort. Perhaps the exercising one does. At least not so much effort in relation to what it's worth to be healthy that we shouldn't do it. So why don't you try making out a list? And even if you don't make a list out physically, on a piece of paper or on your computer, at least do it in your head. And then you got to take action. And even if you only do one or two things to help your health, it's worth it. I've posted a drawing up on I have a cork board right above my computer screen that shows a drawing of, you've seen many of these, I'm sure by now, of the coronavirus. And then right below it, I have printed out a saying from famous showman and wealthy businessman P.T. Barnum, the circus guy. And here's the quote that I want to pass on to you to conclude this podcast. The foundation of success in life is good health. That is a substance of fortune. It is also the basis of happiness. A person cannot accumulate a fortune very well when he is sick. So I wish you good health, and I'm looking forward to passing on some more thoughts next month in the podcast for All About You.